everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom Quee. As ever, thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the show on YouTube. Please subscribe to us on iTunes wherever you listen. Please leave a review on iTunes. That'd be greatly appreciated. Let me know what you think about the show. Leave a review, helps on the algorithms. You know, check out what people have written as well on the page. Go on to our Patreon, patreon.com/BattleRapResume. The best upcoming episodes of Battle Resume, the big guests that I have, you know, such as like my guest today, for example, and past I've had like, you know, Respect BA and Tony and Dirtbag Dan, those sort of episodes, they go on the Patreon first. It's kind of like a little premium service there. So if you want to listen to them first, you want to get access to lots of other exclusive content, you want to help support the show, you can donate, patreon.com/BattleRapResume. I want to say thank you, deeply to everyone that's donated so far. I had like 30 odd donations so far, a month, which is crazy. So thank you so much to everyone. Please subscribe again, as I say, follow us at Power Up Resume, Redbubble, redbubble.com/BattleResume if you want to get the merchandise as well. But let's get into my guest, because I'm majorly excited to have this guy on. I mean, the beauty of Battle Rap Resume really is I try and go through lots of different leagues, lots of different nationalities, old and new, a kind of wide range of battle rap. But there's always going to be that battle rap that you originally got into, that originally is what led you to those multiple pathways. And mine is a certain era of Don't Flop, 2012 backwards really was when I was kind of cutting my teeth. And one of the most original, one of the most compelling, divisive, entertaining figures was SENSA. And I'm so happy to have him on the show. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's good, mate. It's good to be on. I'm looking forward to chopping it up a little bit and talking about the history of everything that went down when I was involved.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, in a sense, your rise was Don't Flop's rise, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of hard for me because Don't Flop to me was that era that you're just talking about, and sort of after then, to me, I've just lost interest in it, and I did lose interest in it for a long time when I was still doing it. So it's quite a strange one for me.
Interesting. And, in a sense, the interest began, going back to those sort of early origins. I was just watching, just before we went live, actually, one of my favourite performances of yours, which we'll sort of get onto in depth later, that being against Jokestar and Verb T.
Oh, yeah.
With the man Sketch as well, featuring there, of infamy. But we'll get onto Sketch as well. But anyway, you freestyle a line, it gets a huge reaction, and you basically say that you learnt to freestyle with your Indian mate. Now, is in a way, to get to that, is that how it began? Was it with or was there people before that? Where did your rapping, battling sort of stuff start?
Well, first off, it wasn't with Rowan. It started way back. It all started off in a shed. Right. Me and my mates just having a joint, and we were listening to some compilation hip hop album, and it had an instrumental at the end, and it was sort of, "Oh, go on, mate, you have a go." No, you have a go, And it started off with like a couple of literally the worst bars you've ever heard. And we started doing it more often. It just became something we did for fun. And so I never wrote anything down for about 3 or 4 years. I just freestyled constantly. So that just line was really just because I couldn't really talk about Lloyd from the little village that I grew up in because no one knew who it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, big up Lloyd. Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, how long from Lloyd till Rowan?
Well, I started rapping when I was probably 14. And then before Rowan, the first ever rap battle I did was in a place in Norwich called the Light Bar. And when I went in there, they were like, "Oh, there's this one guy." I didn't go in there to battle. I just went to watch first time. There was this one guy that they said won it every single month, and he was invincible. And that was Archaic.
Right.
And he was on stage, and there was some guy in there who was American, and it was basically them two in the final, freestyle, 30-second rounds over beats. And I stood there and I saw him at the bar, and I said, "I'm going to come back next month, mate. I'm going to beat you." And we had it was quite a bit of rivalry for a little while. And I think he beat me 1 or 2 times more than I beat him, to be fair. But it was always really good. We always had really good matches, and a lot of the times it was sort of the crowd would decide who won, but they couldn't decide, so we'd just end up freestyling round after round against each other, So that's where it really started. Then the WRCs came about.
Yeah.
Actually, back in that club, like in the club we used to rap at, back then I knew Koolez, like years before Koolez rapped on Don't Flop.
Right.
He was involved in a little rap group of someone that I knew, and I brought Koolez in there one night, and he did a show there, and I think Respect BA battled in there as well.
Right.
It was quite a cool weird little thing in Norwich. You had all these battle rappers that went on to do quite well in the battle rap world.
What was the battle structure? Was it over beats? How many rounds?
Yeah, it was over beats. It was. I think it was 2 rounds each. I think on each beat, and then you'd go through to the next round. But it's the same 5 or 6 people every month, you know. And you'd have the odd person who was pissed out of his face who'd just come up on stage and have a go.
Yeah.
But no, it was cool. It was a really good vibe. That's where I really got into battle rap. And then after that, the WRCs sort of popped up. The original, the original ones.
Yeah, the 06 kind of.
Yeah, because I think Kool-Aid's was living. I think Sam and Kool-Aid's were living together. Archaic. I think they were living in a house together, so they sort of entered it together. I think me and Ark did have a conversation about me doing it, and I didn't feel up for it. I don't know why at the time. I can't remember what was happening, but I didn't go for it, and I really wished that I had have done it. And then the second time round, when the WRCs came around again, I remember being at work and speaking to Sam, and he was like, "Rowan's going to do it," and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, man. Like, good luck to you." Because I knew Rowan. I went to school with Rowan. I was in a year above him, or 2 years above him. So I knew of him, and I didn't know he rapped until I see him one day at Sam's house, and he was freestyling, and he was fucking good. He was only 17 or something, and he was freestyling. And anyone who's seen Rowan freestyle knows he's very accomplished freestyler, and Sam is as well. And like they did. I mean, they went on to do really, really well. I was really happy. I didn't have any feeling of missing out or jealousy towards them. I was just fucking happy that these two geezers that I knew were smashing it the way they were. So yeah, I don't know. Like from Lloyd, that was probably 4 or 5 years between back in the day and then getting involved a little bit. Yeah.
So I mean, interesting, really, because nowadays battle rappers just become battle rappers, don't they? There isn't that legacy. But before you were even on camera properly, so there's like 5-6 years of just honing it, you know?
Yeah, there was originally videos of, I think there might even still be on YouTube, videos of me in that bar. I think there's one battle. Might be
against who?
I'm not sure. I think it's against the American guy. I'll have a look now, see if I can find it. But yeah, that was, back at that time. I mean, when Don't Flop first started, or even before Don't Flop first started, me, Rowan, trying to be accurate with this.
Right.
Me, Rowan, Freddie,
Cruger,
and Cruger, and Sam used to meet up for ciphers often, like 2 or 3 times a week at one point, in this little underground car park place in Norwich.
Yes. And was Kruger's brother there?
No, that was a different. You're thinking of when we did the 3-on-3 battle.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about like us just chilling.
Oh, right.
Just like way before like Don't Flop. I think it was before Don't Flop. We used to just chill, and the ciphers were fucking difficult to keep up with. Because when Sam and Rowan would be going 4 for 4, we'd be going around the circle. Sam and Rowan were very, very competitive against each other, but without it being a battle. But they would always try to outpunch each other. And them two are very, very good at it. I mean, I feel I can freestyle well and I can keep up. But when them two used to get going, it was really, really tough to even join in the cypher because they were just so on it. They'd spit a 2-bar punchline, and then the next 2 bars they'd spit straight after it would be a punchline off the back of that punchline. You know, it's just like, fucking hell, these guys can freestyle to a different level. That was really good. I mean, that was sort of, sharpening the tools or whatever. And then the battle, when the rap battling all started, there's like funny things about the starting of Don't Flop that I've heard the story about when it first started.
Please.
The first ever, the reason why Don't Flop started, or why it was called Don't Flop, was because Rowan wanted to put on a night in Norwich for a hip hop show, and DPF was meant to be performing. He was headline act, and DPF called up about a week before. I was around Rowan's house, and Freddie was there as well. And DPF rang up and said, "I'm not coming," or messaged and said, "I can't do the gig," or something like that. And then Rowan was obviously pissed off, and he was like, if you're going to be the headline act of a fucking event, don't flop. Like, don't fucking tell me you're going to be there and then flop. Right. Like, just don't fucking flop. And then that's where the name came from. That was I've just found Arcane versus SENSA.
Oh, nice.
From 2006. So that's like the first ever event. It was in a little pub in Norwich, and so the first ever Don't Flop rap battle was actually Sketch versus a guy called Ali Al-Nakib, who was Kool-Aid's mate.
It was Sketch at the beginning.
That was the first ever. Obviously, it wasn't recorded or anything. Yeah. But that was just a night. That wasn't even like a rap battle thing. That was just something we did for a laugh because we were used to rapping in the club, and then we thought we might as well. It's a rap show, so we might as well put that battle on, So that happened, and I think I battled Archaic with some pre-medded freestyle mix of bars, and he did the same, which was all cool. And then I think the actual when Don't Flop started being spoken about as something that might potentially be something like a rap battle league. We trialed a little battle, me versus Rowan, in a park in Norwich. We just went over to a group of random skateboarders and was like, "Do you want to watch a rap battle?"
Right.
And we did it, and it was really shit. It was just absolutely fucking dreadful. So it never went on. And then I think the first one did. Then they went up north and did the Oshea versus somebody battle.
Yeah, Too Easy.
Too Easy. That's the one. I think it was in Brighton, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
And
yeah.
I think that was the first written one. And then we did the me versus. Was it me versus Freddie?
Yeah, you versus Cruger is your first upload. November 2008 it comes out.
Yeah, I remember that day like it was yesterday when we went down.
Yeah, I thought you'd come a little bit better than that, because I heard all those jokes before saying SENSA is fat. You fucking geek! At least my life ain't centred on maths, referencing maps and the collection of stamps. So my conclusion is that Freddie is a twat, whose only job prospect is being the receptionist at a chemistry lab. Or being a dentist, perhaps. Or dressing up as Santa and letting kids get on his lap. And you made a huge mistake lending me cash, because what the fuck are you going to do about getting it back?
We went down to the little subway, mate, like all excited about it, like thinking we were like, doing something really big. It felt, and then when the battle was done, it was just like, because it was a good battle, even to this day, it's still got watchable. You can still watch it, and we were all of us were just so excited about the fact that we'd just done it, and there was no chokes, there was nothing. It was just a flawless performance from both of us. We were both really happy with it, and Rowan was really happy, and everyone was really chuffed about it. So yeah, it's crazy what it went into from the humble beginnings. It just went absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think befitting how old that video is, and I agree, it is really enjoyable to watch. Like both of you have some really really good stuff here. It was on YouTube, wasn't it originally? Not even Don't Flop.
It was, yeah. And Rowan battled my friend Jamie, who then obviously went on to battle MA. And Jamie had only rapped for 2 or 3 months when he did that battle. He wasn't a rapper. He started freestyling with me because it was a laugh, and within 2 or 3 months, he had learnt to a point where he could freestyle very well for someone way above anyone else that had only been doing it for 2 or 3 months. I mean, he raps freestyle now with me for fun, when we have a couple of drinks, and he can freestyle as well as pretty much anyone. But he's not a rapper; he just does it as something that he does, Yeah, and that was crazy that he battled Rowan, and Rowan shaved half his beard off and wore a hat. And
The hat and glasses is
all that shit. Yeah. We got there and we were like, "What the fuck is he doing, mate?" Like, but it was just trying to show Jamie like, this is not your thing, this is my thing. I can come wearing this and still beat you, sort of shit. But.
Yeah, exactly. And how long from the Cruger video being filmed to it going online and like being shared?
Oh man, I can't really remember, to be honest. It was such a long time ago, but I remember being really really excited about it, and then because we thought it was so sick, like all of us thought it was fucking brilliant, and then we arranged, I think it was like 2 weeks later, we battled again, and it was me and Jamie versus Rowan and Fred.
Yep.
Which never got quite as much watch, but it's got some great lines from both teams. I mean, both people had some really good lines in that. But so we had a bit of a crowd for that one, actually. That was just some boys from Norwich that like YMCs and stuff.
Yeah, it's nice. It's got kind of like a lit promenade behind it, and so it's quite interesting. But I mean, as Don't Flop is slowly climbing out the primordial ooze here, and sort of people like yourself and Cruger and I mean, it is kind of magical, isn't it, in a certain sense, that you three were around at the beginning and were kind of really really good. But okay, so you battle Cruger, then you battle and Cruger, and your first kind of foray into real battling, someone you've never met before, had to be Oshea, didn't it?
Well, when I was sort of looking through, I remember when the first few uploads from the Northern event went on, because obviously like you said, we had the Too Easy battle, and then I think he went up and battled, I think it was Pyrotechnic, if my memory serves me right, and then Chris Lee's battled Sprungy or something. Chris Lee's battled someone, and then Flex Digits battled someone as well, and Pseudonym. And I remember Rowan saying, like, these are the guys, who do you want? And I remember watching it thinking, if I'm going to battle anyone, I don't want it to be Oshea, because he's got a bit of fucking charisma about him. It's going to be hard to beat. And then Rowan was like, this is the one that I want you to battle. And I was like, okay, we'll go for it, we'll do it. And back then, like, bars weren't the same as bars now. Bars, you could just say, you're from Liverpool, and just spit some bars about Liverpool, and because no one had ever heard it before, you could just get away with pretty shit bars, to be honest with you. But that battle caused me shit for my entire
that battle
for the rest of my entire time of battling just plagued me.
Yeah.
Horrendously.
We'll visit that in a second. But yeah, this is Oshea, the first match, July 2009.
Watch out! He's got an Irish name. I think there's a paddy about. And what's worse is he uses a Scouse accent, and his teeth are so fucking big it looks like someone shoved a cricket pad in his mouth. Your accent is the worst in this country, mate. How does it feel to be from a city that everyone in this room fucking hates? Teeth!
Very cool to see. I just had him on the show. Great interview. Cool to see Respect BA hosting.
Oh shit, I forgot about that, yeah. I forgot about that. And I had Possessed in the background heckling me all the way through it as well, which was... At the time, I was sort of starstruck with Possessed, you know, because I looked up to him and I was like, oh shit, he's heckling me, and he's like, it's Possessed. I was like, oh fuck, man. But yeah, that was a really, really exciting day for us, because, you know, going away and doing a rap battle, and you only ever battled in Norwich, you know, and then all of a sudden here we are in London, you know, with a crowd of probably 15, 20 people.
Yeah.
But it just felt like a big day out, you know. It was like, it had that feeling about it. I remember seeing Oshea outside the venue in a car park practicing his bars with Innuendo and another couple of his mates.
Right.
And we saw each other and we like give each other the eyes and shit, like, fuck you, mate, I'm gonna do you in. And then the battle sort of, we got in the venue and people started battling, and I remember feeling really nervous, even though the crowd was tiny, mate. I remember having my beer and going to the toilet and getting on the stage and needing to go for another wee again and going back and fucking pissing.
Right.
You know, nerves were just horrendous.
Yeah.
But and then I spat my first bar and it was so terrible, and the crowd reacted like it was so terrible, and I remember thinking, fuck, this is not good. Like, this is the worst opening line to a battle ever, and I don't know what the fuck I was thinking when I...
Yeah, I mean, in your intro, we'll get to that line in a second, you big up the hardest man, Andy Gray.
Yeah, I'm going to have to link him to this now, you know, when it goes online. Yeah, it's just, you know, Troy the White Guy, my friend, who Solkan obviously mentioned. And then Andy Gray is just a mate of Troy's and mine, and... you know, I said, if I ever do another battle, mate, I'll call you out, and that was as simple as that.
Right. And
yes.
Oshea kicks it off. You can't freestyle. You got no tracks. You just mate.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, from Oshea's perspective, that was it.
Yeah.
You know, he could look online and find nothing about me at all, apart from the 2 battles that I've done. So, pretty accurate.
Yeah. And he does say for the first time you're battling outside your circle of friends.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, did he? Yeah, that's...
Yeah, pretty... I mean, I appreciate... Yeah, it's a long time since you watched these battles. I just watched them the other day, but that is... you know, obviously Norwich faggots like to crossbreed dogs with rabbits.
Dogs with rabbits, yeah, I remember that. I remember a lot of it, like, Norwich is a great place to come from if you're a goat.
Yeah,
I remember that. That was funny as
line.
fuck.
That was a big line, yeah.
So that's how our bars have evolved.
Yeah. Yeah, true. You wouldn't hear that in a in a sunburn environment. No.
No.
What your first line then? You sort of saying his Irish name. You're telling people to watch out.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I literally don't know what the fuck it was about, mate.
Yeah.
Like, even looking back now, it's just because you know, the big gnashers at the front of his mouth. I was like, you know, cricket pads are like them big leg things.
Yeah.
And I was like, it looks like he's got a cricket pad in his mouth because his teeth are so big and white. But it's just a terrible bar. I just look back and think, fuck, what was I thinking when I said that? And that could have been like a filler throwaway bar in the middle of a round if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But as an opener, so I always wanted to, in battles, I always had this thing that you needed a good opener and the punchline. So I was never a time rapper. I never said time at the end of a round. I always thought that the end of your verse should be so decisive and so good that you don't need to say it. It should be, bam, that's the end of my round, and turn away, almost, you know, walk away with the exclamation mark is there. You don't need to fucking signal it. You should, the last impression of the round, right? When you go into the next guy's bars, the crowd should still be reacting from yours. That's what I always thought. So I don't know what the fuck I was thinking on that first bar, because I always thought the first bar's obviously got to get the crowd going as well. So I don't know what the fuck I was playing at.
And, you know, a lot of anti-scout stuff, as you say. You know, kind of he's from a city everyone hates. He's a mix between a white Fat Joe and a Buddha statue.
Yeah.
She's pretty accurate. Short, fat, and Irish, how unlucky can you get? And we have the close of this first here, which, as you say, would plague you. It's kind of a double punch, actually, when you look back against Scousers in general. Battle like Hillsborough because you're getting crushed.
Okay.
Which was the intro. I mean, it's weird, isn't it, SENSA? Because I appreciate in battle rap, in life, pretty much everything's uncensored. And no topics off limit. But I think Jimmy Carr said recently that, like, Hillsborough is one of those things that you just don't joke about.
Yeah, see, that's exactly right, mate. And
I mean, I'm not saying that personally, but it's kind of the...
Yeah, no, it's right. No, it's right. Like, looking back on it, I have publicly online said, I shouldn't have said the things I said, because looking back at it, it's wrong. But at the time, my mentality was I wanted to throw him off because I was thinking he was going to be better than me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted something to piss him off. I wanted to fuck his head up, basically. And also at the same time, never knew that Don't Flop was going to go on to be what it was. We're talking like rapping in a subway, then rapping 10, 15, 20 people in a crowd. Never thought that this many people were going to watch it and react the way they did over the years. I mean, we're talking the whole time I rapped. So yeah, it's just one of them things, mate. I didn't think at the time what I was really saying and what the effect it was going to have. And then obviously the other lines I said in the battle were even worse. So
yeah. I mean, because you do follow it with the looks like Rhys Jones. He was given the chance to grow up. Mm-hmm. Which is, I mean, like, obviously it's mentioned in loads of battles against you as a diss to you. You said this, like, which is man. Like, recently on ITV there was Little Boy Blue. Did you revisit when you watched that, or?
No, I didn't see it, mate.
You didn't see it, but it was obviously it was about Rhys Jones. Rhys Jones, okay. I should say, if any like American listeners or anyone overseas, he was just kind of again kind of Liverpool schoolboy who was caught in a shooting, horrible case, and it was kind of
dreadful.
Dreadful, really sensitive topic, and you I mean you say it, and like I appreciate it's Barrett, but you say shocking stuff, but again it's quite by the knuckle.
Yeah, it was hideous, mate. It was hideous. It deserved all the negative reaction that it got. Just like I say, at the time, I just didn't think it was going to go the way Don't Flop was going to go the way it did, and as many people were going to see it. And I mean, it really, 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 really plagued me to the point of death threats.
Yeah,
I had radio stations in Liverpool tweeting my name out.
Oh shit!
And then I got messages from people saying, we've just seen that you're battling in Manchester tomorrow, which is 15 quid petrol. If you turn up at the event, we're going to stab you. So don't fucking turn up. I still went to the battle. I remember actually a fucked up situation because obviously I had this said to me, if you turn up at Manchester, we're going to stab you. I think it was when I battled Redza.
Right.
And we got to the venue, me and a couple of mates. I remember seeing Pamphlet there, and I went off to do my bars with Pamphlet. We were standing outside this little place, and there's a little tiny fence. We were sort of in this sort of, I don't know like how to explain it, but there was no way out. We were like behind a door, and there was a fence, and if anyone wanted to come in and stab me, I had no way of escaping. And I remember going through the bars, and these three lads walked past, and they were Scouse lads, and I heard it say, "Is that fucking SENSA there?" And I thought, fuck. And I said to Pamphlet, I told Pamphlet about it, and I was like, mate, it's not going to kick off, mate. This is it, man. We're going to have to fucking do this. And Pamphlet was up for it.
Yeah.
He was up for it. And I was like, fuck. And they come up, stuck their hand out, said we're a big fan. I thought, I'm getting sucker punched here, mate. He's going to take his other hand out and stab me. And he didn't. He shook my hand, gave me a can of beer, said he was a massive fan and massive fan of Pamphlet and that, or whatever. And it was fucking shat myself, absolutely shat myself. Yeah. But yeah, so the Rhys Jones thing, mate, is something I should never have said, and especially that the angle was, you've got kids, so how can you say that? Which, absolutely fair. Mm-hmm. I there's nothing I can say apart from I know it was wrong and I regretted saying it. Mm-hmm. That's it, really. I can't really.
Yeah, no, of course, of course. I mean, I obviously don't want to labour this point beyond necessary, but it's just interesting more than anything, rather than some sort of repenting thing. And Oshea flips it. You're fat, I'm big boned, which again is this era of barring, isn't it? Really, where it's just it's very sort of just playground. But
that's right. Yeah, you're right. That's how it was back then. It was like, because no one had battled anyone, all these area to area rivalries or whatever you want to say, like, oh, you're from Norfolk, so I can say this, or you're from up north, so I can say this, or you're from Brighton, so I can say that. No one had the chance to use those bars before, so they all seemed new. So it was, you could literally, like when I battled Redza, I just had Irish jokes because no one had ever battled an Irish guy before. So it was just, and he was ginger as well, which, for me that was like the easiest battle to ever write for because he's Irish and he's ginger. It's just absolute a writer's dream. But but that was that era. It was just completely different,
Yeah. And you sort of go in again with the teeth. Uncle Fester, teeth so big, I bet it takes a real bloody effort for your lips to come together.
Oh yeah. Okay, I think of that.
Yeah. It doesn't look like he runs quick, but if you put a Nick DVD player in his arms, I bet he goes faster.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You look like chubby Britney Spears after she got on her head with a razor, which is...
Shit. So it's weird. I can't remember that at all.
Yeah, I know. It's
Strange.
just miasma, isn't it? You just kind of, even though you laboured over it. And what is, like, your process, like the writing, the rehearsal process? Is it this? Did it grow to the same thing? Did it experiment, or?
Yeah, no, I changed it up. I ended up with a system of how I did it. In the beginning, it was just write the bars. I always done it on computer at first. I used to sit on a notepad, write the bars out, and then say, I don't know, you got a month to prepare, so I'd spend 2 weeks writing the bars, and then 2 weeks memorising the bars. And the first 2 weeks, I'd get all the bars into 2-bar schemes, or 4 bars, or 6 bars, or 8 bars, whatever the schemes were. And then when it came to time to arranging the rounds, it would just be a case of, right, this one, I think that could go with that one. You'd line them up until you had your 3 rounds, plus your overtime, because we used to do overtime.
Yep.
So you'd have your bars, and then it would just be a case of memorising each verse one at a time, just going through them. But then I did change, as the battles went on and the battles got longer, I did develop different ways of learning, and I had little tricks on how to remember what line was next and stuff like that. So it ended up on paper. I used to write the bars on a notepad on the PC, and then when I had all the bars and I was ready for time to memorise them, what I'd do is I'd print them out and cut them out into little strips, so I had each scheme.
Right.
And I'd put them all on the floor, and then sort of piece them together, and then when they were all in line, I'd sellotape them together, so I'd have the verse. And then I used to take them with me. So I'd go when I went to work. I'd take them, take the bars with me, and memorise them. But it's crazy because I got to a point where I could memorise verses in the most ridiculous amount of short time. I mean, I don't know if you know, but at one point I was meant to battle Arsenal, and we had unlimited rounds.
Right.
And I had a 15-minute third round.
Jesus, 15?
Yeah, 15 minutes, and I memorised the whole 15 minutes in a shift at work.
No.
While I was working, I'd memorised the whole thing. It got to a point where I could do that, and that became a bit of a downfall of mine because I relied on that ability to memorise so much that the amount of preparation time I gave myself to memorise went from a week or 2 weeks to 2 days.
Right.
And I'd be in the car on the way to the venue for battles. Haven't even started learning my third round yet.
Oh my god!
And I'd be people. You can ask people who used to go to the events. I'd always be outside the venue stressing out because are you ready, SENSA? No, man, I don't know. I haven't started learning my third verse yet, and I'm at the venue.
Oh no!
It got to that point, where when I stopped enjoying it.
Right, and it's funny you mention that actually because I watched one of your battles that I hadn't watched until today, which is skipping ahead a little bit. We'll get back into the sequential, but Prince Kong, and I remember in that battle you have a really long third, don't you? Is it like 10 minutes or something?
Yeah, I think it was 12 minutes something, mate.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just because it was unlimited rounds, and I'd just memorised. I think might have been around the time when I was due to battle Arsenal. And it fell through, so I'd already done the memorising thing. So I thought, fuck it, mate, it's an unlimited round. And I'd written so many bars, I thought, do you know what, I'm not going to have no throwaways in this battle, I'm just going to stick them all in that round.
Right.
Just do it. And it's funny, because the beginning of the video is light, at the beginning of my round, and it's actually dark by the time I finish rapping. Just fucked up, mate, but yeah.
And, getting back into the battling now, I mean, Don't Flop is still within these early days. We're not even out of 2009. Uploading, in fact, in December 2009 is your battle against Flex Digits.
Yes, mate.
See, his family only eat vegetables grown in the softest soil. Plus, he's Spanish. He probably puts olive oil on olive oil. See, when he's back home, he has to work as a Spanish waiter with his northern accent going, Macarena. See...
Noticeable, I think, in the sort of progression of yourself as a performer. This is where we really get a sense of the aggressive SENSA.
Yeah, that battle was probably the tensest battle I ever had in terms of thinking it was going to get to fighting.
Right.
That battle, because when I battled Oshea, Flex had told me something, which as a battler you probably wouldn't tell someone if you knew you were going to battle them.
Sure.
And so when I got told I was battling Flex, I wrote bars about it. Right. And I didn't want to say it because, again, it's fucking horrendous. It's, shit you just don't say. But I got tipped off by someone. I can't remember who, but someone tipped me off that he'd learnt my kids' names,
right,
and that he was going to drop their names in the battle.
Ah.
So I thought, right, well, if that's true, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. So what I did was I wrote 2 different versions of my third verse. And I had, if he said the kids' names, then I would say the shit, and if he didn't say it, then I wouldn't say it. And he said it, so I said, he said the kids' name, so I said the shit that I said.
Right.
Which we don't have to go into if you don't want to.
Well, I mean,
again, it's not the nicest subject matter, you know.
No, but I mean, for the sake of our listeners, I suppose, can you just give us the cliff notes?
Yeah. Well. No, out of respect for Flex Digits,
sure.
There's I won't tell you the backstory of what he told me, because I really like Flex. He's a really sound guy.
Been on the show. I've met him. He's a dope dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he's well cool, and so basically it was I don't know, man. I'd rather people go and watch it if they want to find out, because I don't really want to talk about it, because
that's fair enough. That's fair. Yeah, as respect to Flex, definitely as well.
Yeah, man.
It's just definitely check out. But I mean, in a broader sense, then this kind of this venom in your performance, like there are so many of your performances as we go through now that are marked not only with the impressive memory, the great writing, but also the sort of, I don't know, there's like you have a sort of viciousness to watch that's quite unique. I don't know if you appreciate that. Like a lot of battlers are angry, but there's a sense of disdain within you that I really like.
Yeah, I always wanted to have that, because I'm not like that in real life. I'm not an angry person at all, and I don't know, it's just because I'd gone down the route in the early battles of saying nasty shit, it seemed to just fit in. It was just a natural way I performed. I don't know, it's just I couldn't be a chilled out Fred like Cruger. I couldn't perform like that. I couldn't be an Oshea funny guy, because I haven't got the sort of that style of charisma and stuff, so it just sort of fitted to be that way, to be aggressive and to be a nasty bastard, basically. And like I say, with the Flex, just to go back to that, when the me and Flex battle happened, it was, everyone was really buzzing off of it, and there was a fag break after that battle, and everyone went outside. We're not talking a big crowd again, we're probably talking 100 people max, and everyone went outside, and Flex was probably 15 meters away from me, and I was stood over here, and it was just pure silence outside, no one talking, because everyone was shocked at what they just see because of the content. And I just remember thinking, he had his hood on, and he had his hat with his hood over the top, and he was just stood staring at me, and I just thought, this is going to kick off in a minute.
Yeah.
But it did, in respect to him. But so the aggressive side of me, that was just natural. It just felt like the only way I could perform. And I at times I tried to do funny shit, and I never thought the funny shit worked as well. I always thought the harsh shit would just seem to work better with me. But then that always became a problem for me, because I said such nasty shit. I fell into a trap, because I'd said such nasty stuff. When people battled me, they then went deep on me.
Yeah.
So they tried to out deep me. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to fucking go in on them to level it, because if they're going to be fucking slaughtering my kids and my my bird and stuff, I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to go in on them. So I'd be on going on some nasty shit with them, and it ended up just being, I had to be a nasty cunt.
Right, yeah, and I think it does fit you. No offense, in a certain way in the ring, I suppose, in the SENSA character, and SENSA, we're not going long in terms of time here from you battling Cruger in that underpass, in November 2008, to your first international, about a year and 3 or 4 months in kind of YouTube time, with Deffinition against Madness and Dirtbag Dan.
Yes, mate. It
must have been crazy.
That was crazy, because it wasn't a prepared battle. It happened on the day.
Right.
It was unprepared. We didn't know it was going to happen until probably an hour before it happened. So we were just at the venue. Who else battled on that card? That was Dirtbag Dan versus Osh and Kules versus Madness, wasn't it?
Yeah. Press One was there as well. Tenchu.
Yeah, and I think I battled Scissors.
Right. Yes, you did. Yeah.
And it was funny, because when I battled Cruger in the first battle, I thought I beat him. And I still to this day think that. But, me and Freddie have talked about it loads, and it doesn't matter, does it? But I always thought all the way through that I was undefeated in my eyes. And when I battled Scissors, besides when I battled Archaic, near the end of when I was doing it, that was the time I thought I was losing. The only time that I thought I'm really losing this battle badly. But I won it, because it went to OT, and then I think it even went to punchlines.
Right. So
that battle against Scissors was a hard battle, and I loved his shit that he said in it. My favourite CD is IB for Classics 95 or some shit, like
right.
Same era. But yeah, so the Madness and Dirtbag Dan battle was like, we were not starstruck, but we were fucking buzzing to see these guys, because we'd seen them online, we'd seen Madness and Dirtbag for time.
Yeah.
So then, when I think I think Rowan was saying to performers like they're down to do a impromptu battle, you know, and me and Deffinition didn't really know each other very much at all,
right.
And he hadn't done many battles at the time, and I remember saying like, yeah, I'll do the fucking battle, I'm not going to say no to it, and then Deffinition was like, I'll do it as well, so we sort of stood around and had a little chat and tried to think of some bars and stuff, and it just fucking crazy. It was such a as Oshea and not so much Kool-Aid, but the Oshea versus Dirtbag had that feeling of fuck me, we've got Americans here, you know, like this is big, and it felt like that. Obviously, it didn't get much as many views or talked about as much, but everyone in the room was just excited to see Dirtbag Down and Madness perform again, you know. And me and Def had some good bars each as well, and they did as well. So it was such a lot of fun to do, and the international thing always got you up for it a little bit more, you know.
And you know, you and Def would team up for a lot more battles, going against Evil Eyes and Amos. This is part of sort of the doubles tournament, then going on to Tenshu and Lego as well. Like, you know, quite a strong. If you look back as kind of the heavy hitters and Don't Flop at the time, quite a strong team, you and him. Yeah,
we were unlucky really, because when we battled Evil Eyes and Amos, we clearly lost that battle, and I don't know if you know, but Ed Sheeran was the judge.
Right.
I don't know, and Ed Sheeran said, I think Amos and Evil Eyes won, but I'm going to give it to SENSA and Def.
Right.
So, I don't quite know what Ed was thinking there, so that happened. That was the day England lost to Germany in the World Cup.
You're wearing the shirt.
Yeah, I remember walking to the venue and Freddie and Rowan were trying to get me to face paint my face in the England flag for the battle. I'm fucking glad I didn't do that shit. No. But yeah, me and Def battled Lego and Tenshu. That was just before we were going to Canada, me and Def, and we didn't prepare for that 2-on-2 at all. It was like we wrote the shittest, quickest, because we didn't care about that battle by that time. It was like, we're going to Canada to perform, we need to get our bars up for that. And the night before I did that battle, I'd actually done a fundraiser in Norwich, like a drum and bass night that I hosted and a hip hop night, and I'd been up till 5 a.m. and then travelled down. I had no sleep for that battle, before that battle, and we had terrible bars. We were screaming, and it was just a terrible performance, and we both knew it, and we deserved to lose. But it just didn't matter because we were going to Canada, you know.
Deep in your bitch and started slamming her hard, you'd see more facial expressions than Mindbender reacting to bars. See, I'm having to laugh, because he'll say he's in love with Katie. You think that is his chick, till you find out KT stands for Kid Twist. This prick lives in a hick city, Whitby's the place, which was originally tamed as a British domain, so fuck you, because Englishmen gave your city its name.
And let's talk about Canada, because it was so great that you went over there, and like, you know, a lot, it's still a great honour, but you know, a lot of Don't Flop battlers have gone over there, a lot of King of the Dark came over here, but you know, this is back in the day, this is World Domination 1, you know, how did you get the call, how did this get set up?
I can't really remember, to be honest with you. I think, I'm trying to remember now, I'm not 100% sure. I remember Organic and Rowan are obviously talking, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but I got told that I could go and battle over there, and I think originally I wasn't meant to be battling Porich. It was meant to be, I can't remember who it was against, but someone else. And then we did like fundraisers to get the money to go over there. I nearly got detained, like sent back, because it was fucked up, man. I had to travel from here to Zurich,
right?
Then from Zurich to New York, and then New York to Toronto. It was such a long time of travel, nearly 24 hours overall. Jeez. And I got there, and they were like, "How much money have you got with you?" And I told them I had like $100, and they were like, "What? You're coming here for a week, and you've only got $100 on you? Like, what are you here for?" And I told them this story. I was staying with this rapper over there called Solid Mass, who's a legend.
Right.
I'd never spoke to him before, but I was arranged to stay at his house, and I sort of sat in this deportation room. They came back after about an hour and said, "You've just lied to us through your teeth for the last however long we've been talking to you about how you know this guy and why you're here." And I was like, no, I haven't. I'm telling the truth. And he turned his monitor around, and he had UKHipHop.com up with an interview with me talking about going over there, and that that donations were paying for my flight, and Organic had paid for my flight, and I'd lied about everything. And they were like, "We've spoken to Cooper, who you're staying with," and I was like, "How do you know about that?" I don't know how they knew about that, and they'd called him and spoken to him, and he'd had to admit the truth. And the guy, when I was waiting to speak to the guy, there was him and this blonde girl standing as we're working. And I've been traveling all this time, and she was really, really pretty, and I thought it'd be so nice right now. I'm so tired, just talk to a pretty girl. Right. He looks like a right wanker. Got to the queue, I had to go to the right wanker, and his actual lines were, "If I wasn't a fan of hip-hop, I wouldn't be letting you through. Any other airport attendant in the world would be sending you home. Wow. But I like the thought of what you're doing, so I'm going to let you through." And I was like, fucking unbelievable. So that was like unbelievable stress, mate. Yeah. And then Canada was amazing. Just the hospitality of King of the Dot blew me away. Just amazing. They gave me food, they gave me money, they got me a house. You know, they came up to me on the day before I was leaving and said, how much money have you got left? And I said, I think I've got $6 left. And Avi Rex gave me $40 and said, "This is your last day here. You know, go get some breakfast, get yourself some beers, enjoy it." So nice, mate. And like the battle event was fucking amazing, mate. Pat Stay versus Holohan.
Yeah.
To see that battle live was fucking absolutely insane. I remember standing next to Saurus when that was on, and we were just going insane over it, you know. And the same in my battle, mate. Like I was buzzing my tits off, mate.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into this. So Porich, at that time, quite the big name on King of the Dot.
Yeah, because he had the history, didn't he, of WRC.
Yeah.
Battled with Kid Twist, and then battled against Kid Twist. That battle was the one that opened up everyone's eyes to Canada, that Canada could do it, because Kid Twist battled Porich, and I remember that going viral in the battle rap world, you know.
Yeah. And we're getting the intros. Bishop says that Porich just flew in from Alcoholics Anonymous. He flew from halfway around the motherfucking planet. Organic reminds us Don't Flop gets a big call out here. Cool to see in the back. Who did battle there? Was it Kid Twist?
No, I think that was. It might have been actually.
Yeah, because he battled.
I think it was.
He battled Reverse Live and PH also in America. So maybe
it was Kid Twist. Yeah. Because Troy the White Guy got shouted out in that battle as well.
Right.
In the intro.
It's before we get into the battle, we get this sort of like sponsor by this guy. Do you remember that? Like Cold Game or something. He says it's the best thing from battle rap.
Yeah, he's the one who shouts out Troy. He says, "Shout out Troy from Stratford, Troy from Norwich." I was like, yes, mate. So that was crazy. Yeah, because I when you said sponsor, I thought you were talking about me, because I was wearing t-shirt, some clothing company, Sturban Clothing. Yeah. That was really good. They were really good to me. They sent me clothes and stuff, and the t-shirt ended up being involved in the battle with what some people say is one of the best rebuttals of all time from Porich.
Right.
With the well, I think you might have notes on it. Or...
The don't buy it, or
no, it's what was it? His t-shirt looks the same backwards.
I'll see if maybe we'll get to it. I might have some notes here, but you go into his intro. I mean, his intro is quite garish, isn't it? The Porich dick deep in your bitch.
Yep.
It's one of the more sort of chaotic slogans.
But not many people had slogans back then.
True.
Not many people had a slogan, He sort of was doing it way before a lot of people were doing it, because he said it in every battle, dig deep in yo bitch, and so that was quite an interesting thing.
It was quite pioneering, I guess, back then. You cater to this King of the Dutch crowd wisely. Talk about fucking his bitch, slamming her so hard, more facial expressions than Mindbender reacting to bars.
Oh yeah, because Mindbender was the crazy guy that pulled the funniest gun faces you've ever seen.
Yeah. Fuck KT stands for Kid Twist. Whitby was a British domain.
Okay.
That you go into here. Englishman gave your city its name.
Mm-hmm.
Really good delivery, and it's a delivery that, as someone who watched you a lot, it's familiar to me. As a Brit as well, of course, it's familiar to me. But I like to imagine what a 2010 Canadian in that crowd made of your performance, like this angry Ray Winston bruiser over here. It's just so refreshing.
Yeah, I remember after it. I remember speaking to Organic, and he was like, "You're the loudest rap battler I've ever heard." I've never heard anyone as loud as you before. And I was like, I'll just make sure everyone can hear me, mate, Got to be loud, mate. Make sure they can all hear every bar. And that was just part of my thing, though, wasn't it? It was just loud in your face.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just enjoyed that shit so much.
Yeah, no, it was good. And Porich has a good flip in the first, actually. We only took the good names from Britain. It's why you've never heard of Norwich, Ontario.
Yeah, but there actually is a place, fucking unbelievably. There actually, if you Google it, there is a place called Norwich in Ontario.
Oh, wow.
Which is, the fucking chances of that is just absolutely unbelievable. But there actually is. So yeah, that bar was, I didn't know at the time, obviously, but then someone pointed it out to me, and I was like, fucking hell, yeah, what's the chance? That's like me saying there's not a place called Toronto in Norfolk, and then there actually being one. Like, what's the chances of that?
Yeah, this is from Wikipedia. The township of Norwich is a municipality located in Oxford County in southwestern Ontario. It's a town.
Yeah.
It's got a 10,000 population there, so yeah, it's
crazy, isn't it?
Out there somewhere, and it got mentioned in this battle. But
mate.
Decent stuff from him. And you going through in your second through his top tier losses. Tried to be top tier, but lost every top tier battle you have. I mean, pretty true, pretty incisive.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in the first. I think in his first verse, had a bar where he said something about how can we respect you if all you ever do is ask your opponents for censorship.
Right. And
that bar got no reaction from the crowd hardly at all, but I knew what it meant, and when he said it, I was thinking, fuck, man, that's a bar, like, because I remember saying to Organic, like, something about my kids' names and stuff. And I was like, look, mate, like, it's just been said in this Flex Digits battle, please don't say my kids' names, you know? And he was like, nah, I'm fucking saying whatever the fuck I want. And I was like, mate, like, I'm not going to do the battle. I'm not happy for that shit to be... Because I was upset about it. It fucked me off. Even though this is the thing, it was like, I didn't know where my morals sat, because I could go and say the nastiest shit, but then say to someone else, like, don't say this. So it was a bit hypocritical of me. But so he said that bar, which to me was his best bar, but it obviously got no reaction because no one knew the backstory of it.
But I think for the most part, this is a successful battle. Sometimes when you get disparate cultures together, it can just sort of, just fire and water sort of thing. But I think this one definitely ignites between you. And I love your little play on Big Pun. I'm not an addict, I just drink a lot. Going through his diction. I mean, most battle rappers are Big Pun fans, aren't they, really?
Yeah, a lot of people are. A lot of people are going to know that. So that's why... Yeah, I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was strong. He kind of goes in the gold digger idea in the second.
Oh yeah.
Sort of singing as well.
Remember that.
A James Bond scheme that the crowd rock with, but again, Porich's second is not the best. I think the third is probably actually your best round. Would you say?
To be honest with you, I can't remember it too much. I can remember going on about getting in his little crew's face and saying about the cheerleaders from Glee. Yeah. And that the crowd really loved that. I mean, it's such a basic bar, but the crowd loved it. I can't really remember. I remember the kids, the Home Alone bar. It all went wrong when you left the kid. I remember that bar going down really well.
Your mother measures you using the wall as a ruler stick like a useful kid, but the line she draws doesn't move a bit since she was 6, you stupid prick.
Yeah, I remember that. The stupid prick bit was freestyle. That weren't meant to be on there. It just, I was in the rhythm, and it just... And it rhymed, but that again, like that third round was rewritten. We were having breakfast, me and Cooper, the guy I stayed with, and Deffinition, because Deffinition stayed in the same house as me with this guy, and we like restructured that verse in the morning, and I was memorizing it on the way, and I was really worried I weren't going to get it all out, and I was going to fuck it up, but obviously managed to pull it through. But yeah, I just remember the whole battle just feeling like a real success.
Yeah, it when really
it finished.
Is. Yeah.
It was massive for me in battling. It really was. I remember in the hotel afterwards, because it was the first experience I'd had of like Don't Flop or King of the Dot or anything hotel experience afterwards. And I remember they rented out a whole floor in a hotel, and you just had every battle rapper there, like Holohan, Saurus, all those guys, and it was so cool to see everyone. Everyone was rapping and smoking and drinking, and I remember talking to Bishop, and Bishop was like, I never heard of you before, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. He said, but I fucking know who you are now, and I was like, that's sick,
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it must have been a great feeling, going over there, performing in front of this crowd. There's actually an interview afterwards, which is a great relic of these King of the Dot things, and you just praise the energy of the event.
It's amazing.
And it was just it was King of the Dot now are lambasted for their crowds, but back then they were excellent. They were attentive. They were explosive when they needed to be. Porich, don't know if you remember, he says that he cut his hair. That's why he lost his powers.
I can't remember that. I remember his antics in the evening. He was He's a funny fucker, mate.
Right.
I tell you.
Right.
I remember we was in one of the hotel rooms. There's about 6 rappers in there. I think Bo Rat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a few guys in the room, and me and Porich were sharing a bottle of Jack Daniels, and he drank nearly the whole bottle, plus all the other shit that he'd drunk, and he just wanted to battle, just constantly, just freestyling in my face, just battling, saying we can have another sort of 6 rounds, and I was like, all right, so we did freestyle battles, and he was just funny as fuck, mate, just living up to his character, absolutely pissed out of his face, you know?
Yeah, no, there we go, and from here, really, you know, you're kind of established, I suppose, in a sense, on a top tier. You know, kind of the bigger opponents definitely gifted to you. Were you aware of a scene burgeoning? You know, Don't Flop had been around a little while. Were there fans? What was it like?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think around about that time, it started to get to a point when you'd turn up to a venue and you'd see the queue outside, and people would want to talk to you on the way in. You know. Mm-hmm. Which was quite a weird feeling, because I'd be at home being a family man, and then I'd go to this place, you know, and like people wanted to speak to me and shake my hand and buy me a beer, and it gave you a bit of an ego complex. But I never really got too egotistical with it, because I knew it wasn't really me, if you know what I mean. You know, I've heard people in battle say, I'm a rapper, this is just what you do at the weekend, once a month in a weekend, and like for me that literally was it. Yeah. You know, like I wasn't a rapper at all. I just went and did these rap battles, but at that time, like that, around about that time was when I started to think, you know, doing pretty well at this shit, and just see, hopefully I can get some more international opponents and see where it goes. But it was a really exciting time, definitely.
And you know, one of the accolades that can't be attributed to many people apart from yourself is you battled Dizaster and Solkan on the same night.
Yeah. Oh, that was fucking crazy. That was my favourite day in battle rap.
Right.
Without doubt, that was my favourite. It's just crazy, just absolutely crazy.
Blood in the water.
Yeah, which blood? Was it number 3?
I'm not sure. I think yes, it was number 3. Yeah.
I remember. I just remember, obviously battling Solkan. That was one of his last battles as well, because he'd done amazingly well over in America and King of the Dot. I think he might have done King of the Dot, and everyone loved him. He was massive. And I remember getting that battle and took it really seriously, you know, wrote extremely hard, dedicated for that, 100% in. This was when I was still really into it, you know, I still really enjoyed the writing, everything. And I just remember being so hyped up for it. And then 3 days before the battle, Dizaster goes on Twitter and says, I want to come to London and do a battle. And I saw it as a challenge. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I'd message Rowan straight away. I was like, mate, I'll do it. He's like, you're battling Solkan. I was like, I don't fucking care, mate, I'll do it. And I remember Chronicle at the time, and Diz had been on Twitter and had a bit of beef, and I thought, oh, that's cool. He's gonna, you know, he'll battle Chronicle. Never mind. It would have been good, but it's not going to happen. And I said to Rowan, look, I do want to do the battle. Just say to Diz, who do you want to battle, Chronicle or SENSA? And then he asked him, and he chose me. So I was like, fuck, shit, I've got to battle Dizaster in 3 days. So I remember just writing bars like constantly. I took a day off work, stayed at home, and just wrote bars all day. I hooked up with Sketch and Jamie, and we sat around and, you know, thought of loads of bars, and it was like a all pumps to the handle, sort of hands to pump sort of thing. You know, just get these fucking bars written. And but that battle was, I mean, the Solkan one was really enjoyable. I think the fans really enjoyed it as well. You know, good battle. But the Dizaster one was the battle of the day, and for a long time, I remember a lot of people saying that was the best battle that had ever happened in England. Which I don't know now, looking back at it, if it was as great as what people thought on the day, because no one had ever seen Dizaster perform live before. Yeah, I had, because I'd been in Canada. Rowan had, Freddie had, Deffinition had, but no one in England had witnessed what Diz is like live. And have you seen him? I'm guessing you have.
I've never seen him live. No, actually, no. I saw him on a 2-on-2, but I've never seen him in proper full flare.
Because he's when he's on form, he's absolutely electric. Yeah. He fills the room with energy, the whole room. He draws you in, and he's just got something different to other battle rap. I've never seen anyone like it. And to have him in my face with his hands, there's one bit when he says something about the magic, and his hands were going all over my face. I remember thinking, fuck man, this is a rap battle, mate. This is full on intense bars, you know, and there's loads of freestyling in that battle from both of us as well, which really added to it. And I just remember looking around at my mates behind me, just like, fucking hell, man, battling Dizaster. This is happening, mate.
Yeah. I mean, great event altogether. Real deal Deffinition went down there.
Yeah, that was a good battle, yeah.
Lego, Bartone. Like, it's fair to say that all in all, Don't Flop at that time with yourself, with Lego, with Def, with Tenshu, Kruger, could go against any league, really.
And Oshea, of course.
Oshea, yeah, of course. Oshea, Innuendo as well.
And Flex.
Psychosis. There were just so much talent.
Yeah, see, I kind of would compare it to wrestling.
Right.
Whereas I don't watch wrestling anymore. I'd watch WrestleMania every year and the Royal Rumble, but I don't keep up with it because, like, to me, the Attitude Era had real characters. Like, you had Oshea the Scouse. You had Deffinition the Geordie. You had me the Nasty Bastard. Like, people had their own things. Like, Psychosis was like the alternative goth-looking kind of guy. Everyone, they had their own personas. And there's, like, now I look at it and it just seems to be nerdy college kids and like the odd street guy. But they don't seem to be as distinct. Just like wrestling now. I just think it's not like the Ultimate Warrior or Stone Cold and The Rock, Mankind. It's...
Yeah.
They're all just generic.
Yeah. I think it's quite a common thing actually to put battling and wrestling together. But you put it really well actually. I think I definitely feel what you're saying. And just to get back to the Diz battle quickly, one of the first things we see on screen is an advert for Do You Know Me, your debut project.
Only project.
Right. Is it still available? I tried to find it. It was hard to find.
I don't know, mate. Basically, I was never a rapper, mate, and I should never have made any music.
Right. Well,
Simple as that.
You had Archaic Chronicle and Wordplay involved?
Yeah, I remember. And at the time, same again, mate. Like, I never felt that writing to beats was my thing. Freestyling on a beat, not a problem. You put any beat on, I can freestyle it comfortably over it. But I don't know. It just wasn't my thing. It just wasn't for me at all. And it took me that project to realise that.
Yeah.
I thought at the time, we can do something. Looking back at it when I put it out, I knew it was shit, but it was just something to do. That I thought, well, maybe I can put this out and then I can get better. But it just wasn't for me. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I'd still be, just as a fan of your writing, I'd still be interested to hear it, I guess.
I seriously wouldn't go there, mate. It's fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. Do
you remember the font? Do you remember the album cover?
Yeah. Yeah, it was recorded outside of my mate's old pigsty in his garden in the little village called Frettenham.
Oh, right.
And just like, I don't know, I'll just look down and I'll take some moody looking pictures and see where we go. Yeah, it was dreadful, mate.
Black and white against a brick wall, you get the idea. But nonetheless, great era, as I say, for everyone. Prince Kong happens around this time, which is really good. You get another international, rightly so. Quite a good battle, this one. Little slept on. You versus Arcane.
Yeah.
I mean,
me versus Arcane. I mean, I thought that was I lost that battle. I could not fucking believe I lost that battle at all, and I was really angry about it afterwards. At the time, I remember I finished that battle. The second I finished it, I had to get in a car with CT, and he drove me to the train station because I was going to miss my train. Right. And I just remember being in the car, fucking furious, mate. Oh. Just literally like I've never been like that in a battle before. I was just like, mate, how the fuck? He said nothing. Like, it was fucking useless, Yeah. But again, like, there's some bars in there that were fucking atrocious, and it's just but I mean, that battle, I always just disregarded that battle. I don't, if anyone said to me, list your battles, that battle, I wouldn't even remember it. Right, yeah, like I say, it isn't the kind of most recognised battle there. Still, kind of interesting, documented that era. Far more interesting, released a month after this, is your rematch versus Oshea.
He's convinced everyone he's a great guy, someone a boss should employ in minutes. I'm the drafted in federal agent. I'm here to destroy the image. You're known, so Don't Flop do anything they can to give him tests. Buy plane tickets because of his little rep. He chokes in UK battles because he does little prep, because his ego places him above all English threats. Against Psycho, he was a dribbling mess. You wasted Nestle's trip that paid for with the check, so I'm stopping the title going to a prick that gets nothing but help, then in return shows this company disrespect.
Don't Flop title match. How was this sold to you?
It was the first ever title match, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. I can't even remember. I think Rowan had been talking about doing a title for a while. Because me and Rowan, like at the beginning of this interview, like what we're talking about now, it sounds like me and Rowan were were pretty close. We knew each other well, and
yeah.
Which we did to an extent, but we were never best mates or anything. But we just knew each other because we rapped. So
yeah.
By this time, me and Rowan weren't nowhere near as talkative. We didn't talk that much. Only about, you want to battle this guy. It was normally me saying, you need to pay for my train or get me tickets, or he'd be like, fuck you, you pay for it. And like, that's all we didn't really talk much. Sure. But then this opportunity came up to battle Oshea for title, and I was like, yeah, man, the fans would like to see it as a rematch. I would like to try to correct some of the wrongs from the first battle. And that was pretty much how I went into it. I remember we did like some weird little blog beforehand, like dissing each other, a little video blog. Which was really weird, but
yeah.
But I mean, mine was terrible, terrible, absolutely, shamefully bad.
Okay. And this is kind of a definition of a style clash, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, by that time, he developed his style perfectly. He was just fucking brilliant. You know, everything he says, people laugh. Rightfully so as well.
Yeah.
And again, I knew I was up against it in the battle. I knew it was going to be hard to beat him because everyone loves him.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to be tough.
At that point as well, you know, both of you had, but in terms of just battles, he had battled quite a bit more than you, and kind of just endeared himself in that. And it's just like you say, his style is naturally quite charming. Introducing this, sounds like he's going to cry, you know, in a good way. You know, he seems filled with joy. I mean, like, this is one of Don't Flop's, you know, first huge events, isn't it, to the Test 10?
It was, yeah. It's massive, absolutely massive. I really remember it really clearly. Good venue, but it didn't really suit me very much. I never liked stage battles ever. Right. I hated them.
Yeah.
And that was like a stage battle, and I remember when he said it was a stage battle, I really pushed him to not do it at that venue.
Yeah.
I remember being like, look, man, like, a fucking stage battle, because they'd been doing them in America, and I remember watching them thinking, they look so dead.
Yeah.
There's no connection, because I always used to be quite animated when I rapped. And I used to like move around the circle and like, you know, take up the whole space. But then when you're on the stage, it's like, well, you're just so far away from the crowd, you know, disconnected.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying. It does kind of give it a certain stilted. You can just see everyone watching rather than everyone just kind of being quite relaxed, and like, you know, people are a bit more uptight maybe at the front here. And, you know, mad to see, you know, 4 years. O'Shea's little, you know, it's old school Don't Flop, so they have the wins and losses. Oshea, 13 wins, 11 losses at this point.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy. You are 8 wins and 4 losses, so that kind of gives you the idea that, you know, he's won more battles than you've even done, in a certain sense. You know, and it's Oshea rocking the Zayn Azrai shirt as well. You know, very different in tone to Soul and Raptor, this is, as a title match. And, Oshea kicks it off, and I remember watching this when I first started got into battle rap around this era. The confessional nature of Oshea, I quite liked it. He talks about, you remember he talked about like 2011 being the most stressful year of his life and all that?
I can't remember it, mate. Honestly, I've not watched that battle for probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months after it come out.
Right, shit.
Honestly, I never ever watch my battles ever. So that one again, I didn't like my performance in it. So. I just never watched it. O'Shea's been going to people's cities and fucking the team up. Brian Clough. Did I say that?
No, he says that. It's kind of, you know, where I just say Brian Clough. He'll just sort of, you know, addendum on there. He talks of there's nearly enough comments for this rematch to go down as comments gunning for Chronicle.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Chronicle, he got a bit of hate back then.
Yeah, he did, because I think he did some shit behind Don't Flop's back or some shit like that. I don't really know, but he was always cool with me. But I mean, he did get a lot of hate at the time. Absolutely.
And you know, you kind of go in with the kind of wise comments here, the comments that you can't really refute as a fan. Talk about how he kind of wasted Nestle's trip by doing really little prep. The disrespect he showed, the fact that you've never choked, you know, that inconsistency is the only consistency that you own, so the Don't Flop champ sitting on the throne should be me based on consistency alone.
Yeah, because, like, you know, Osha's made a thing of saying a bar and then going, that was shite, you know, and I always felt like, at the time when I was feeling competitive, I always felt that wasn't good enough. You know, you shouldn't be saying a bar and then saying that was shite after it, you know. It's just lazy. That's how I viewed it, and that bar just summed that up, really. I just thought he was lazy, very inconsistent. That's why he had as many losses as he had, because he probably just, you know, didn't take his battle seriously like a lot of us didn't after a certain amount of time. He'd done so much more battles than me. I'm surprised he had it enough in him to keep going even up to that point as much as he did, because he'd done so many battles by that time.
Yeah. It's just, so, he has this inexhaustible reservoir, doesn't he, Oshea? Like, he'll keep on battling forever, and that's what's great about him. But Oshea tries to go toe-to-toe with you in the second. Lots of offensive stuff. I'll Gary Glitter your kids in the back of a van.
Yeah.
Pretty, I mean, using that as a verb is pretty striking there.
Yeah.
You know, and it just good stuff from him here, and back and forth. I know you don't like your performance, but I had Oshea on a while back, and I personally, and he agreed, we both feel that you won this.
Yeah, I mean, most people do. Most people thought that, and I thought on the day it as well. 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%. I could not believe it again. Like, I just remember walking out of the venue and just thinking, like, man, I just fucking lost that. Like, I clearly won in my eyes at the time. And then when the result came out, but I stood there thinking, you know, if Osh wins it, I'm not going to be surprised, because how popular he is. But at the same time, like, happy for him really, because, you know, we always got on despite the nasty shit we said to each other.
Yeah.
When we weren't in battle mode, we got on quite well.
And just for the judging, for those listening, dialect goes with yourself. You can't resist your third round. Scissors is for the jokes, so he goes for Oshea. Fredo goes for Oshea. Matter liked your performance more, and Nils, he feels that you focused a little bit too much on exposing, and that the crowd didn't like it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I remember that whole angle. I remember my whole tactic in that battle was to try and deflect the negative shit that I'd said in the first battle, and try and make it about the way that him and elder people in his city act.
Yeah.
So I tried to make him look like the bad guy instead of me, and it didn't really go down too well, basically. It was just a backfiring tactic. Maybe I should have gone with more jokes or something, but I don't know.
And yeah, I mean, regardless, you know, Don't Flop moves on, Battle Rap moves on. You know, Oshea, it was kind of destiny for him to win it, wasn't it? At that point,
yeah,
it kind of,
it was.
He already was the champ. No offense to yourself or anyone else.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, he was kind of there. The next two battles, quickly want to touch on two doubles battles. You know, two very different doubles battles. Yourself and Sketch. I mean, Sketch has gone into mythos of Don't Flop, hasn't he? In a certain sense, where I think it's basically because Marlo and Shovel T, you know, Egg and Pepper, Sketch and SENSA, when they do this sort of multi-stream against C Major and Cracker.
Friends forever.
Yeah, exactly. You and Sketch, like you said, you'd been, you know, the Dizaster thing, you'd known him prior to that. You were just sort of good buddies who wanted to battle together, or?
Yeah, we're best mates from school, mate.
Oh, right.
Still our best mates now.
Nice.
Yeah. It's as simple as that. He's just my mate, and you know, I was battling. We grew up freestyling together, listening to hip hop together. So it's just natural, really.
Yeah.
That 2-on-2 battle there, mate. That was just a complete and utter disrespect from me, really, because I only probably wrote 10 bars for the whole battle and just freestyled the rest of it. Yeah, and I can remember being outside before it, and I'd pretty much stopped smoking weed at this point, and I remember going outside about 5 minutes before the battle and having a joint, and then going back inside and feeling absolutely baked out of my head just as the battle was starting. I remember looking at myself when I watched it back, like, nah, this is dreadful. Look how stoned I look. But I mean, it's just freestyling, and I always remember freestyling something to Joker Star about his car. And he said, "Oh, it's an 11 plate." And I went, "Oh, whatever, mate."
Yeah.
I won one of those on a scratch card and gave it away yesterday. I just remember, like, at that time, I felt like I was freestyling on point, you know?
Yeah. No, it is good. You can tell that you're freestyling, and it's a little bit sloppy, but it's never not entertaining. Like, there's some really good lines. And, you know, it's quite a long battle as well for a freestyle battle on your part. I think, you know, you kind of matched them point for point there. And yourself and Archaic versus Philly Swain and Pedro. What a crazy matchup.
Same again, mate. I was absolutely stoned out of my head and should never have gotten started. I can actually remember being at the venue and agreeing to it. And then, like, 5 minutes before, I was outside of Philly Swain smoking a blunt, and I remember Cruger coming up to me and saying, "Yeah, Sensa, you needed, mate. You're now battling." And I was like, "Mate, I can't do it, man. I'm way too stoned." He was like, "Mate, you've got to do it now." And I was like, "Mate, I can't hardly see, so I can't do it." And I went on stage, and it was just a blur, really, to be honest with you. Absolutely dreadful.
I haven't seen that one for a while, actually. It's just a little thumbnail on the Verse Tracker page at the moment.
Yeah, man.
We will we'll have to get into that. I'll have to get into that some other time. But yourself versus Psychosis Holocaust. I will go on record on saying it's one of the greatest Don't Flop battles of all time. I think it's an unbelievable battle. It's the perfect concatenation of the aggression and intelligence that both of you have. Like, what are your thoughts on this battle?
That's a funny one, mate, to be honest with you, because this was when I'd stopped enjoying it. This was the first battle that I'd gone into half-assed on the preparation terms of things. I wasn't particularly interested in it, and it turned out to be a classic, so it was good. But yeah, man, it's like this was the point when I started to lose interest.
Sure.
I remember at the time being on stage, it was hype as fuck. Yeah. The battle was fucking crazy. I really fucking loved it.
Sometimes he crams his sentences with so many syllables about things like Ninja Assassin, Shogun, Assassin's Creed, and all the other stuff, trying to make you all think that he's an unbelievable flowing machine. He talks about all the Street Fighters, all the SNESes, Mega Drives, Master Systems, all of that shit to try to impress, but that shit just ain't going with me. There is no need for the thousands of ancient Japanese syllables that you throw into schemes. It's like you're shit at draw something. You feel you have to really spell it out for us so we know what you mean.
Before it, I was like, nah, this is, I'm fucking done with Don't Flop, and that's it, basically. But it turned out to be fucking brilliant, so winner.
Yeah. I mean, I love the stuff about, he obviously collects toys, Theo, and sort of like, him trying to fuck a girl, and he's like, don't open your box, it only ruins your value, and shit like that. Shit. That's really good. Do you remember your condiment scheme?
Oh, I completely fucked it up, didn't I?
It was quite good. It wasn't, too bad there. But
I remember it though. I remember thinking at the time this was like, because scheming had only just started coming in.
Yeah.
At that point, scheming hadn't been completely rinsed at that point. That was like the peanut butter and Nutella and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly everything, but yeah, man, I remember the scheme. I fucking loved it when I wrote it. Absolutely thought it was the best shit ever,
I mean, it works, and there's there's lots of great moments in this battle, and one of them, I say a great moment, but when Psychosis in the first gets really in your face and gives you a little nod.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and you go up to him and tell him like, "Don't do that." Like,
yeah, I remember that. I remember at the time because I know Theo from like talking to him and stuff. I know he'll go if he has to go, if you know what I mean. And I just remember standing on stage and him doing that, and I was like, "Fucking do that to me, mate." Do you know what I mean? Like, I will go if I have to go.
Yeah.
Let's fuck you, mate, get back, sort of thing. But it added to the battle. Didn't lose my shit, didn't get angry like majorly, weren't thinking about it because it was just part of the battle. I accepted that. It's what happens.
And I mean, he's quite a full-on guy, isn't he? In a certain sense, there's lots of touching, lots of what he's saying as well. Like, yeah. I mean, do you ever feel any sort of, does it ever get to you in any way? Have you ever found that lines or sort of actions can really last?
I don't know, mate. I think Zen said something to me that did fuck me off when he said something about I wish the baby had died when she was born or some shit.
Right? Yeah.
I remember that, and I was like, after the battle, he went to shake my hand, and I was like, fucking shake my hand, mate.
Right, shit.
Don't fucking say that shit. He's like, oh, but Sensa, like, it's, you've said shit to other people. And I was like, not about their kid.
Right.
I said some shit, but I didn't say it about their kid,
Right.
But again, it was that me being a hypocrite, not being able to take certain things myself when I'd gone that far with other people,
Yeah, I mean, you got, like, all great characters have these paradoxes, don't they, inside their personalities that kind of, push them forward, and that's one of them that a lot of battlers have, I think it's very, very common thing here. And we get to, we're going really into the kind of, the popular emergence of Don't Flop, in inverted commas here, talking fourth birthday specifically.
Yep.
Terrific battle against DNA. What a name to get.
Yeah. Still disappointed with the name because I was meant to be battling Arsenal.
Right.
And Shotty got the battle instead, which obviously is, in my performance, the best ever UK hip-hop rap battler performance from Shotty. I think that's the best performance any English rapper's ever done. But But it was meant to be me and Arsenal. Me and Arsenal were meant to battle on Shotty's lab battles.
Right.
It was meant to be me and Arsenal, and I'd written out these bars. I had about 28 minutes worth of material for Arsenal, and then I got told 3 days before the battle that it wasn't happening. So I was gutted, man. I had all these bars, like really good bars. I was really happy with them. And then I got told the battle's not happening. So then when Arsenal and DNA said they were going to come to England, it was going to be DNA and Arsenal versus me and Shotty, but we didn't know who. So they did a thing on the Don't Flop forum, a vote, who's going to battle Arsenal. I think Shotty won it by about 5 votes.
Right.
So then I got DNA.
And if you think all that association word shit is gonna work, then you must be bugging. Because Bamalan battled 100 bullets and already proved that shit means nothing. See, I'm trying to work out how clear your conscience must be. The fact that you're all the way here in England and you're actually able to enjoy these battles while your mum is sat somewhere in their hood, legs looking like they've just been Roy Keane tackled.
Which I was still really happy with. But this was like the last time it really got me up for the battle, because I'd lost interest in it by this point. But I was still doing it because of the money. I thought I could do with $1. So I'd done it, and then the DNA battle came around, and I was like, yeah, I'm fucking up for this.
Yeah.
This is enough to make me want to do it,
And I mean, DNA had just... Was this around the Dizaster era?
It was, yeah. I think it was just after he battled Diz.
Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah.
Which obviously, that battle was fucking massive.
Yeah, I remember watching this. It was the first time I'd seen DNA before, actually. And I remember being very impressed.
Yeah.
I think he gives quite a polished performance. Do you remember him vomiting on stage?
Yeah, I do, mate. Very clearly. I remember seeing it. What the fuck is he doing? Like, I've now got to stand there and rap. And there's vomit on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. It's not... and he's done that a few times, I think, as well. Another abiding image from this battle sensor is, from the second round onwards, your ear poking out the hood.
Yes, mate, yeah. I know, mate, I was completely oblivious to that.
Yeah.
I watch it back now and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, my biggest, most viewed battle, I think it is.
Yeah.
And half the battle I got my fucking ear poking out.
But I mean, regardless, you go toe-to-toe with a grind time, URL, veteran, arguably in a peak higher than he is now. Really excellent battle. Were you pleased with your performance?
Yeah, I was pleased with it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was chuffed with it. Again, it's gone back to like more of a pit environment where the crowd were all around us.
Yeah.
Even though we were on like a little raised stage, it still felt like a pit. I felt back in my element again. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it helped my performance a lot, it being that way. The performance, I mean, I have watched that battle back a few more times than a lot of other battles.
Yeah. So in the third round, DNA picks up on the Rhys Jones stuff. What did you think of his take?
I can't, to be honest with you, 100% remember exactly what he says, but I remember thinking it was good that he'd put the time in to actually research it,
Yeah.
He wasn't just coming with generic gun bars and that sort of stuff. He had some good shit, actually. I remember sitting watching it back, thinking, this was pretty good. His Martin Luther, by any means necessary.
Yeah.
That flip when I said the Martin Luther bar and he flipped it, I thought that was fucking really tremendous flip. Cause he said, was it on Malcolm X by any means necessary?
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
I just I remember it being really good, man. I just remember enjoying that battle so fucking much, just because of the venue and the crowd, the way it was. I remember being happy with the bars that I had. And again, I had the most despicable bar I think I ever spat, apart from the Rhys Jones one. Right. Which, when people say to me, "Oh, you used to do rap battles, let me see it," and I'm like, "Oh, watch this one." They put it on, and then they come back to me the next day and say, "Mate, I can't believe you said that."
Yeah.
I can remember saying, the fact that your name is DNA is fucking tragic because your tooth fell out, your dad's dead, and your mum's a spastic. Like, fucking me.
Yeah.
Horrendous. But yeah, I mean, like, I remember at the time, if you watch it when I say it, I turn away from him when I say it because I was just like, this is raw, I shouldn't be saying this shit.
Right. So, I mean, crazy good battle from you. Again, really, really awesome to see you kind of showing out in that sense. Now, we're getting near the end, really. The foot's coming off the gas. We've got
That was the end for me.
That was the end?
Yeah, I mean, that's I should have stopped then.
Right.
By that time, I fucking hated it. Didn't enjoy it one little bit. I think I went on to do some other battles, and I should never have done them because I'd stopped putting any effort in. Just didn't enjoy it. So when I battled Archaic, that was something that I said I'd never do. Me and Sam had always said we'll never battle each other.
Yeah.
Then he came up with the idea that he wanted to do it, and I said straight from the jump, no, I'm not up for it, mate. We know each other too well. And he was like fully on it. Rowan was on it. He rang me one night when I was really, really drunk, and I said, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it.
Right.
And then I should never have done it.
So, I mean, we don't need to get into the specifics, but I remember watching that battle, and that battle's not online anymore, right?
I don't know.
Right. Okay. It's on. It's currently, you can't find it on YouTube. It's been unlisted.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, because I never said that. There's stuff that see me and it's not on there, is it? That's weird.
Yeah.
But Ark's got other battles on there.
Yeah.
That's strange.
I always thought it was because I don't remember the battle explicitly, but I remember you kind of like, it's quite a lot of personals.
Yeah, it was a funny thing between me and Sam. Me and Sam stopped talking for about a year after it. Because I was pissed off of him because we said there were certain things we weren't going to say.
Right.
And he did, and I didn't. And I could have said a lot more than I did. But I didn't think we were going to. I thought he wasn't going to, and he did, and I was really fucked off of him.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk for a long time after that.
And have you since reconvened, or?
Yeah, we speak now. I mean, we don't really speak much because
Yeah.
I'm not involved in any of that shit anymore, and he lives a long way away. But I mean, he's one of the coolest guys in battle rap.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, he's so safe. He's had hate over the years.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, people don't know him. He's safe as you can't really find anyone nicer bloke than him.
And other battles at this time, the Chris Lease battle, that seemed one that had been long brewing in a certain sense, where it was quite an obvious matchup.
Oh yeah, it meant nothing to me. I mean, that's so disrespectful to say that, but it could have been any opponent. It was just literally a money grab.
Right.
It was literally just for the money. I'd done it just for the money. I put no effort into it at all.
Yeah.
It was shambles. I've never watched it, not even once.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just absolutely. That's the way it went. Honestly, like after the DNA battle, I should have stopped then and should never have battled on. That was it, really. I went downhill and I was gutted with myself because I finished what was potentially like a good, I don't know, legacy or whatever, on a real low of just shit performances, shit bars, shit everything. And it sort of finished on a down, which was a shame.
Well, the dialect battle's quite good.
The dialect one. Again, I felt inspired to write for that one. That was one of them ones, like it was in my hometown, which is the first time I'd ever battled in Norwich, apart from the 2-on-2 with Verb T and that. But that one was in Norwich. I was just really up for it. Dialect was on a bit of a spree at the time, and I felt like I really wanted to write for him. I completely forgot about the dialect one, to be fair.
Yeah, it's good. And good that there were battling events in Norwich back then. It doesn't seem to exist anymore.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I don't really know, because I don't keep up with Don't Flop at all anymore, and I don't really know what's going on with it, but I honestly just don't know what happened. I mean, Norwich was never a big scene for it, because of, obviously, it's not a very big hip-hop place at all. But yeah, I mean, that battle was a good battle. I think he really enjoyed it as well. He performed really well as well.
Yeah,
definitely. No, that was a really good battle. But I got the 5-0 on the judges, so it's all good.
And we also have Zen, of course, which was kind of your farewell. Like, obviously, you mentioned what Zen had said before. Were you happy about the battle as a whole, or?
No, fucking terrible.
Yeah,
absolutely terrible. Again, I've never watched it.
Right.
Never watched it once.
It's a long battle.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like 40 minutes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Have you seen the interview?
I haven't, actually. I haven't even watched this battle back. I think I watched it at the time in 2014, but not beyond.
Oh, you should watch the interview. That's the best thing about the battle.
Okay.
The whole that whole evening they were like doing interviews when they had Steph, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing the interview because I'm not a rapper. I don't want to be doing interviews. It's awkward. I'll battle, but I'm not doing an interview. That's fucking weird. Like it's not me anymore. And they were like, yeah, do it. And we were like, nah. So we went out on the town, and I think we drunk fucking. I think me and Ark and Skirmish and Jacob, my friend, and Pedro, I think at some point we all went and bought 3 bottles of Ciroc.
Right.
And we drunk all the Ciroc. We went down the town. We went out. I come back to the venue, absolutely slaughtered. And Rowan was like, "Yeah, come in here, mate. We've got more booze or whatever." And I come in this room, and there's Steph, Zen, and Freddie and Rowan with a camera set up. And I was like, "Oh nah, mate." And I do this. There's just this interview of me being an absolute pissed twat arguing with Zen. For like
I need to find it. Oh,
yeah,
God.
it is funny. I didn't watch it for like a year or two because it was so cringe. I was like, man, I can't watch that shit. I know what I'm like when I'm pissed. I'm just a fucking idiot.
Right.
And yeah, it is fucking funny, mate. Honestly, it's better than the battle, I think.
Okay.
I don't remember anything about the battle because I've never watched it. I think Zen won. I think he won it fairly from what I remember on the day.
Oh my God! I've just found the interview, and it's 17 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on Dope. It's on Dope. It's got 6,000 views and 97 likes, so people clearly think it's great.
Yeah, it is funny, mate. Like after we've done this, you should watch it.
Yeah,
when you got some time, 'cause
I'm going to.
It is funny, like honestly, it is fucking hilarious. Because Zen's like trying to be cool, like, and I'm just fucking on one.
Yeah. A lot of people saying this is better than the battle. This is the best Don't Flop interview in the comments. So everyone, go check it out. You can find it. Just SENSA versus Zen interview. If you type that in, it'll come up. But
that is funny as hell, mate. That is funny as hell.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to check that out. That's going to be great. But you said to me just before we went on air, you wanted to sort of do this interview in a way of putting a line underneath this phase. So we're never going to see another SENSA battle.
99% sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't really know anyone that I would want to battle now. Like,
Right.
if I was going to do it, this is the thing. Me and Rowan have spoken in the last year or so, and he's like, "You need to do a small battle first," and I'm not up for that.
Right. Okay.
I'm not up for battling someone a warm up battle and then a lower opponent and then getting a big battle. If I was going to do it, it'd have to be Arsenal or But Rowan, fair enough to him. He's like, you haven't done it for a while. You need to get back into it. But I wouldn't, unless like the DNA battle. If the opponent was someone that I was inspired to write for, I would perform as well as I can. If I'm battling someone small in a small little venue, I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'm not gonna write very well, and it just wouldn't work. So, yeah, there's a few things that could make it happen, but it would have to be a very precise setup for it to happen. I'd want it to be a pit battle as well.
Would you battle Shocks the Rebel?
Would I battle Shocks the Rebel? I'd have to watch some of his battles. I see the title match the other day.
Oh yeah, what did you think?
I thought it was good. I thought he clearly won it.
Right.
Quite easily, I thought. Soul, I haven't seen Soul battle for a long, long time because I don't watch any battles at all. The only ones I ever watch are like classics, from the era that we talked about earlier. I watch Dizaster battles quite a lot.
Right.
Go back and watch his old battles. I thought Shocks is very good. There's no way of going around that. His writing's very good. But I don't know. I don't know nothing about him. It's hard to battle someone you've never met. I don't know nothing about him. I've got no clue about where he's from or what he likes or what he does or if he's in a rap crew or if he's got albums or anything. I don't know nothing about him, so I don't really know. That wouldn't really inspire me that much. No disrespect to him because I know he's very, very good at what he does. But it wouldn't be something that would make me go, well, yeah, fucking hell, I'm going to battle him.
Yeah.
Because To me, he's almost a nobody in the terms of that I don't watch Don't Flop anymore, so I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And the same like with Soul, I've known Soul for a fucking long, long time before Soul was the Soul that you all know now. Like when Soul was first starting, and he wasn't making much of a move in Don't Flop when he first started. It was really the punch that made him get that extra bit noticed.
Yeah.
And his writing, his writing got very, very, very good. But same again, I haven't watched him battle before then for fucking ages. For him to all of a sudden be the champion, I was like, what the fuck? How did that happen?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Actually, if you if you're a big Don't Flop fan and went into a coma for 3 years from like 2011 to 2014 and woke up and Soul was the champ, it wouldn't make any sense. You're right.
With really long hair and completely different look. I was like, what the fuck? But like he's very good again, very good. Very good performer and very good writer. He always was. I remember him showing me some bars once for a battle that he had. I can't remember who it was against. And he showed me these 3 rounds, and I said to him, they are fucking immaculate. Like I can't remember what battle it was, but that was when I was still enjoying it. And he showed me these 3 rounds, and I was like, "Wow, man, I've never heard anything like that in a battle before. Fucking amazing." He's always had the ability, but his performance lacked. But he's obviously added to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I mean, I don't know. It would have to be. So, yeah, for me to do it, it would have to be. I don't know, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Even that's lost a bit of its thing to me.
Yeah.
Because he's not the draw he was when he battled Shotty, you know?
No.
It's not got that same, oh my god, it's Arsenal, because he's been here a few times.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it wouldn't have that same feeling of grandeur as what it would have had.
Yeah.
I always wanted to battle Shotty at the time. That was one I always wanted to do, but obviously things have changed. I don't really know who else.
Well, but why, I mean, of that era, a few battles that should have went down that didn't. You versus Yunnan?
That was organised a couple of times, and he pulled out both times.
Oh.
With excuses that were fucking bullshit both times. And ask him.
Yeah.
Ask him. Something was like, one of them was like he'd booked a holiday and he'd forgotten that it was on that date or something. And I was like, that's fucking bollocks, mate. And like he's always like big mouth and everything online. And when we met, he was alright. We got on alright.
Yeah. Yeah.
It lost a lot of its spark when we met each other. We were fine. I've always thought we were going to hate each other. And then we saw each other and it was like respect, you know. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Yunnan, that battle, I mean, I was up for it at the time. I wouldn't be now. It wouldn't interest me at all. Yeah. But at the time, I was always up for it. Then he became a bit of a beast, and I was thinking, no, fucking, this is going to be quite a tough battle, you know. This guy, because he had a stage where he was fucking rampant, mate. He was crushing everyone. Yeah. And I thought, shit, this is going to be a fucking good battle, mate. I'm going to have to write some good shit for this.
Yeah.
I think that was around about the DNA time.
Yeah.
Like similar sort of time.
Right. Yeah. That was kind of his ascension. I think he was supposed to be on that card with Shotty against Tricky P and who was it? Sharon maybe, or HFK or something. But they were supposed to go down there. But another person that I always thought, why didn't SENSA battle him? Tenchu. Yeah,
same. I always thought that just never materialised. The opportunity never came up. It wasn't even ever spoke about. It was never even. Would you want to battle Tenchu? You know, we could make this happen. It was never, ever spoken about at all. There's actually, I think for a long time, like when I lost interest in battling, my Facebook picture was a flyer of me versus Unanimous.
Right.
Yeah, I can't remember what battle that was, what event that was at, but I had that on my Facebook for fucking ages, mate. Like a year or something when I just didn't update my Facebook. Because I never go on the SENSA one anymore. I've not been on it for fucking ages. I think I do once every 6 months or something.
Right.
And that was it might even be it now, for all I know. I don't even know what the picture is.
Okay. Well, to wrap up SENSA, we'll go into some a few quick fire questions here. So just whatever comes off the top of your head. The first one being your favourite don't flop battle.
Shotty versus Arsenal.
Yeah. Common choice, but great choice. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah. What about King of the Dot? Do you have a favourite King of the Dot battle?
Pat Stay, Holohan.
Yeah, classics that you both witnessed. I imagine. Did you see Shotty?
No, I didn't see the Shotty one. No, I went home.
Yeah.
On day one. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Pat Stay and Holohan was mind blowing at the time. Maybe now it doesn't translate as well, but at the time, I don't know if everyone remembers, but Pat Stay and Holohan were best mates, and they fell out. Don't know if that was real or not, but they fell out. And then they battled, and I remember Pat Stay had the bar about Holohan hitting his girlfriend, and he was like, she's always hinting at it subliminally. Would be like, "Oh girl, what's up with your eye?" And she'd be like, "I don't know, it beats the shit out of me." I remember when he said that, Saurus turned around and went absolutely insane. I just remember thinking, this guy's writing is so clever.
Yeah.
He had his own unique way. I just want to touch on one thing as well that I just mentioned there about talking about Holohan. There was a night when I was in Canada, we were in a hotel room, and I was with Kruger, Dirtbag Dan, Holohan and Rowan, and they all went clubbing apart from me, Kruger and Holohan. And Holohan's freestyling ability is the best I've ever seen.
Wow.
Absolutely unbelievable. Like rapping at sort of grime speed, but with punchline after punchline, every single bar. Absolutely amazing. But you don't really ever see that side of him.
No, not really. No, I know you don't follow Battle Rap very close anymore, but Holohan's one of those tragic tales that just doesn't. Even when he comes back, he's kind of okay. Like, and he's very intermittent in his output anyway.
Yeah.
So
shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. What
that was one that nearly happened as well.
Yeah, I was going to say you and him. Yeah.
That nearly happened. I remember, but I never went back to Canada. I was invited to go back, but I just had my little girl, and you know, we had the new baby, and it just wasn't right. But I mean, that was the battle that was going to happen. Another crazy, actually, that never happened was Dizaster versus Holohan.
Right, yeah, that would have been good.
That should have happened. I remember in World Domination 1, when Dizaster battled, he sort of stood up and took the mic and in front of the crowd off camera said, you know, Holohan's next, and but it never happened.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that would have been very, very good. But I mean, yeah, it kind of time. It's sort of a bit too late now. But
yeah.
URL. Do you have a favourite URL battle?
Fucking hell. I don't know. You know, I mean, Loaded Lux's second verse.
Right.
Against Calico.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely mind-blowing performance-wise. I don't know about overall battle. I mean, there's so many good ones. It's hard to think off the spot.
Yeah. No, fair enough. So, final two questions, non-battle rap related. The first one, Sensa. What's your favourite film?
The Great Escape.
Nice.
Yeah,
Classic.
I grew up with it. Had it on VHS as a kid. Used to watch it every day before school.
Yeah.
Got a poster of it up in the house. Yeah, it's just my favourite film, mate. I fucking love it.
Yeah. Good choice. And finally, your favourite band or artist, musical band or artist that are in no way hip hop related?
Pink Floyd.
Oh, nice choice.
Yeah, Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Pink Floyd.
The Wall was my favourite album.
Crazy.
I listen. My music is so varied. What I listen to today, I was listening to. This morning, I was listening to Steely Dan.
I love Steely Dan.
Yeah, I was cooking my breakfast today, and then on my break at work, I was listening to Marilyn Manson.
Nice.
At the drive-in, a bit of Slipknot. Then I'll be listening to Tupac. No, Tupac was as a kid.
Yeah.
As a teenager, Tupac was always, you know, Tupac, not Biggie. Refused to listen to Biggie for years.
Wow.
Until I grew out of it.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I haven't watched the Biggie film.
Notorious. Yeah, it's not very good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard they portrayed Tupac in a negative way, so I was like, nah, I'm not fucking watching that shit. Same again with the Tupac film coming out. They better be 100% accurate, otherwise I'm going to notice.
Right.
You know, like when the Straight Outta Compton film came out, they had Tupac in the studio recording a song 2 years before he recorded it, and I was like, how could they make that mistake?
Yeah.
You know, like, fucking, how did they do that? Like, how could they be so sloppy? So they better not do that with the Tupac film, because that's going to be shit if they chronologically fuck it up.
Well, Sensa, this has been so good, man. Great to finally get you on the show.
Man.
Finally, how do people get at you? I know you don't do the Facebook much, but you're on Twitter, right?
I'm on it, but I've completely unfollowed everything to do with battle rap on it.
Right.
I just have literally, it's just boxing. That's my entire Twitter feed. That's all I'm interested in. Like, boxing's took over. I did have a chat to Rowan when I was drunk about doing a don't flop battle with boxing involved.
Right.
I was like, right, you know, we could do it in a ring, in a boxing ring, and we can do bars for 2 rounds and then have 2 3-minute rounds of boxing. But he was like, you're drunk. I was like, yeah, I'm drunk. But I'm serious. And I woke up in the morning and I was like, no, if you get like a real referee and paramedics there, you know, we can do don't flop boxing. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was an open invitation, but he never got back to me on it. It's a bit of a silly idea, but yeah, I've been boxing, been learning to box, lost loads of weight, getting in shape and learning to box. So yeah, I thought that'd be quite cool to take someone on. And I thought, shit, Respect BA's been doing martial arts for about 15 years, so I don't really want to make it that open of an invitation because I'm going to get my head kicked in.
Yeah, he's a pretty deadly guy in all measures of life there. I guess finally, you versus him, that would have been a good battle.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, I know him quite well because he moved to Norwich for a while.
Right.
We did chill a few times. He's a fucking, again, very creative writer.
Yeah. Really
creative. I watched his battle back that he did. I can't remember who he was against.
Tony.
Was it Tony, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another battle as well, the Tony one.
Yeah.
That could have gone down, but never did.
That would have been good, yeah.
Because if I'd have beaten Oshea, then I would have battled Tony.
Yeah.
In the defence, because Osh battled Tony after. Yeah. But that never happened. But it's just one of them things. Again, that wouldn't be something that would enter, like, you know, I wouldn't be interested in battling Tony. No disrespect to Tony, but it's just the same with Respect BA. for me to battle again, it would have to. It's very precise. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe maybe have a word with Rowan if you want to see it.
Yeah, definitely. I think people would love to hear that again. And it's been great going back for all these battles. I want to urge people, especially to go and watch the Zen and SENSA interview, as I'm going to watch as well. I can't wait to dig into that. But SENSA, this has been great, man. Thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for having me on, mate. It's been enjoyable, man. It was Don't Flop was an exciting journey, mate. It was something that I did that when I was involved in, I loved it. You know, I fucking loved it. It was lived for. I remember being on the coach and buzzing so hard, mate, about getting there and then winning the battle and going home.
Yeah.
You know, just fucking buzzed off it. But it lost its buzz for me. But it's always something I look back at very fondly.
Yeah. And there's an
arc. And who knows?
Yeah, exactly. And there's 25 uploaded battles of some incredible quality. Really stands testament as a back catalogue there. So whatever you choose to do, it's gonna last. But SENSA again, thanks, man.
No worries, mate. It's been a pleasure, man.